The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 1, Section 4, Vedanta has a factor in civilization. Extract from an address delivered at Airlie Lodge, Ridgeway Garden, England. People who are capable of seeing only the gross external aspects of things can perceive in the Indian nation only a conquered and suffering people, a race of dreamers and philosophers. They seem to be incapable of perceiving that in the spiritual realm, India conquers the world. No doubt it is true that just as the two active Western minds would profit by an admixture of Eastern introspection and the meditative habit, so the Eastern would benefit by the somewhat greater activity and energy. Still, we must ask, what may be that force which causes this affliction or afflict and suffering people, the Hindu and the Jewish too, the two races from which have originated all the great religions of the world, to survive when other nations perish. The cause can only be their spiritual forces. The Hindus are still living, though silent. The Jews are more numerous today than when they lived in Palestine. The philosophy of Indian percolates throughout the whole civilized world, modifying and permitting as it goes. So also in ancient times her trade reached the shore of Africa before Europe was known and opened communication with the rest of the world, thus disproving the belief that Indians never went outside of their own country. It is remarkable also that the possession of India by the foreign power has always been a turning point in the history of that power, bringing to it wealth, prosperity, dominion, and spiritual ideas. When the Western man tries to measure how much it is possible for him to possess and to enjoy, the Eastern seems to take a opposite course and to measure how little of material possession he can do with. In the Vedas, we trace the endeavor of the ancient people to find God. In their search for Him, they came upon different strata, beginning with ancestor worship. They passed on the worship to of Agni, the fire god, of Indra, the god of thunder, of Varun, the god of gods. We find the growth of this idea of God from many gods to one God in all religions. Its real meaning is that He is the chief of the tribal God who creates the world, rules it, and sees into every heart. The stages of growth leads up from the multiplicity of gods to monotheism. This anthropomorphic conception, however, did not satisfy the Hindu. It was too human for them who were seeking the divine. Therefore, they finally gave up searching for God in the outer world of sense and matter and turned their attention in the inner world. Is there an inner world? What is it? Is it Atma? It is self. It is the only thing an individual can be sure of. If he knows himself, he can know the universe and not otherwise. The same question was asked in the beginning of time, even in the Rig Veda, in another form. Who or what existed from the beginning? That question was gradually solved by the Vedanta philosophy. The Atman existed. That is to say, what we call the absolute, the universal soul, the self is the force by which from beginning all the things have been and are and will be manifested. While the Vedan philosophers solved that question, they at the same time discovered the basis of thesis or ethics. Though all the religions have taught ethical precept such as do not kill, do not injure, love your neighbors as yourself, etc. Yet none of this has given the reason. Why should I not injure my neighbor? To this question, there was no satisfaction or conclusive answer for forthcoming until it was evolved by the metaphysical speculations of the Hindus, who could not rest satisfied with their mere dogmas. So, the Hindus say that this Atman is absolute and all pervading, therefore infinite. There cannot be two infinites, for they would limit each other and would become finite. Also, each individual soul is a part and a partial of that universal soul, which is infinite. Therefore, in injuring his neighbor, the individual actually injures himself. This is the basic metaphysical truth underlying all ethical codes. It is too often believed that a person in his progress towards perfection passes from error to truth, that when he passes on from one thought to another, he must necessarily reject the first. But no error can lead to truth. The soul passing through its different stages goes from truth to truth, and each stage is true. It goes from lower truth to the higher truth. This point may be illustrated in following ways. A man is journeying towards the sun and takes a photograph at each step. How different would be the first photograph from the second, and still more from the third or the last when he reaches the real sun? But all these, though different so widely from each other, are true. Only they are made or to appear different by the changing condition of time and space. It is the recognition of this truth which has enabled the human or the Hindus to perceive the universal truth of all religion. From the lowest to the highest, it has made to them the only people who never had religious persecution. The shrink of the Mohammedan saint, which is at the present day neglected and forgotten by Mohammedans, is worshipped by Hindus. Many instance, Many instances may be quoted, illustrating the same spirit of tolerance. The Eastern mind could not rest satisfied till it had found that goal, which is the end sought by all humanity, namely unity. The Western scientist seek for unity in the atoms or molecules. When he finds it, there is nothing further for him to discover. And so, when we find that unity of soul or self, which is called Atma or Atman, we can go no further. It becomes clear that everything in the sense world is a manifestation of the one substance. Further, the scientist is brought to the necessity of recognition or recognizing metaphysics. When he supposes that the atom him having neither breadth nor length had become, when combined, the cause of extension, length and breadth. When one atom acts upon another, some medium is necessary. What is that medium? It will be the third atom. If so, then the question still remains unanswered. For how do this two act on the third? A manifest reducto ad absurdum. This contradiction is in terms is also found in the hypothesis necessary to all physical science that at that a point is that which has neither part nor magnitude, and a line has length without breadth. These cannot be either seen or conceived. Why? Because they do not come within the range of the senses. They are metaphysical conceptions. So we see it is finally the mind which gives the form to all perception. When I see a chair, It is not the real chair, external to my eye when I perceive, but an external something plus the mental image formed. Thus, even the materialistic is driven to metaphysics in the last extremity.